Okay, so today's topic is inferential statistics. Okay, so we will be starting the inferential statistics. We will be seeing some basics and then we will be moving on to the hypothesis testing. So we will see what is inferential statistics, and more of the things will be onto the theoretical side for next 2-3 classes, because we need to understand a lot of theory for a one-liner Python syntax. So we will be going to see a hypothesis testing, for which we will be preparing the base level concepts. Okay, so I'll start first inferential statistics. So population versus samples. So population is basically, we have discussed about the population and sample. So can anybody tell me quickly what is the population and sample? Basic, whatever is your understanding.
Population is the whole of data set, like
Mm-hmm.
which we are analyzing
Okay.
to, and a sample is actually a small data set, a subset of the data which we take out to analyze
Correct.
as well.
Correct. That's the correct answer. So now what happens? Population is basically our whole data set on which we want to run the analysis. But what happens, sometimes you don't have the resources available to analyze the whole population. For example, simply I'll tell you, suppose if I have the your laptop system. Let's talk about your laptop. So your laptop is having the hard disk of 1 TB. Okay. Now suppose if I will give you 25 TB data, what you will do? How you will handle 25 TB data? You cannot handle, right? So in those case, sample analysis works very well. So what you will do, you will collect a 1 TB sample out of this population, and you will be doing the analysis on this particular sample, and on the basis of this sample you will be telling like, okay, this is the truth about my population. So basically what happens, we have taken one example of our class. Okay, suppose my class is having 100 people available. Okay, now Apurva want to run a analysis. So what she will do, she will just collect a small sample of 10 people out of these 100 people, and then she will take the feedback of these 10 people, and she will just simply give the result. So suppose 10 people are saying that yes, the feedback is positive. So she will say that whole population thinks positive about the classes. So that is how a sample analysis happens. So we have discussed about some things, what is called a sample biases. Okay, so what all sample biases can happen into the when we are collecting a sample?
We can only pick up the sample positively correlated or something. Sometimes it's only
Mm,
negatively correlated, and sometimes it may be neutral.
Like we can only take sample of only male people showing. We can
correct,
forgot my female as well. So
correct.
obviously, uh,
See, correlation has nothing to do with the sample. Okay, so what is
I
correlation?
mean, I mean favorable, only favorable samples, or like only non-favorable samples.
Favorable, non-favorable, I can agree, but
Yeah.
correlation is nothing to do, has nothing to do with sampling. Correlation is related to variable selection, right? So which variable is correlated to another variable, that is what correlation tells us. Now what happens, there are multiple types of sampling methods are available into the market. Almost 200 plus type of sampling methods are there. Now we will be going to discuss few of the important methods which are getting used into the industry and are being asked into the interview. Okay, so we will see what all those sampling methods are there. But before that, we will discuss some concepts. So descriptive statistics and inferential statistics. So descriptive statistics is basically when you are organizing and summarizing the scores from the samples. Inferential statistics is basically where you are trying to infer the information about the population based on what we know from the sample data. Okay, so that is basically called as inferential. So inferential basically deals with the population and samples always. Okay, we will see how it works in the next upcoming slides. This slide, you leave it for now. Types of variable. So quantitative and qualitative type variables, discrete and continuous variables. So we have discussed about some variables into the last class, categorical and numerical variable. Now similarly we are having something called as qualitative and quantitative variables. So does anyone have any idea what is qualitative and quantitative variables?
Qualitative cannot be expressed in terms of, we cannot perform numerical analysis
Okay,
on them.
correct. So can you give me the examples?
Like gender, color.
Quantitative can be salary, age, and
Hmm,
qualitative can be gender.
okay,
Qualitative, it gives quality about something.
correct. So pin codes.
Qualitative.
Qualitative.
Pin codes will be qualitative. Okay, so basically quantitative are where you can perform the numerical operations. Pin codes you cannot perform the numerical operations. Now another segregation which we do in the quantitative type is basically discrete and continuous. So discrete is basically the data which can take any take a particular point of value at a given point of time, and it has a finite set of number. Okay, so for example, discrete example I will give you. For example, when you are throwing a dice, so dice has how many values? Six.
Six.
At a given point of time, how many it can take?
One.
Only one. Okay, now it has a finite set of values. Is it possible that in a dice 3.45 can occur and 5.5 can occur?
No.
No.
Discrete type. Okay, give me another example of discrete.
Person's age.
Person's age is a continuous. It's not discrete.
Tossing of a coin.
Coin toss. Head or tail, right? At any given point of time, it can only take one
Yeah.
value, right? And in between head, tail, nothing, none of the other value is possible. Now, another type of segregation is continuous. Okay, so continuous is basically which can take any value from the infinite values, and there is a infinite values are possible. So how many values are available between 1 to 10?
Infinite.
Infinite.
Right.
1.1, 1.112.
Correct.
Yeah.
Infinite number of values. Now give me the example for the continuous data set.
Time series, like
Height, weight.
Height, weight, okay. Blood
Okay.
pressure, correct. Temperature. Now tell me one thing. When you are measuring the temperature, right? So temperature is always measured into this particular value, 20 degrees or 70 degrees or 120 degree, and we know it temperature will never be going beyond 60 degree, right? It never goes beyond 60 degree. So this is a finite set. Why you are saying it is a continuous value?
but it cannot, it can have 20.11 like that or
So
something.
It
okay,
might have float values as well.
okay, so 20.11, 20.12, 20.13 is still, it is kind of a discrete value where it is taking any value, correct? It will not be taking apart from this any other value, correct? When you will be measuring. So when you are measuring on a digital meter, right, digital thermometer, it will tell you your fever is 101.03. It is not telling you any infinite values. So why we are calling it as a continuous variable? It is a fixed set of values, right? You are not going beyond 103, 104 degree.
It depends upon the I mean the set of data which we are measuring. Temperature of body won't go beyond this, but it could be a metal or something.
Suppose age is again continuous variable, or height is again continuous variable, but none of the person will be having infinite height, right? Or minus infinite height will be always lying between 1 feet to 6 feet, or whatever is the basic 7 feet, right? It will not go beyond that, and at a given point of time it will be having a fixed value, correct? It will not be having some infinite value that somebody's height is 27.18189293, something like that, correct? So it is always a fixed value. So why we are calling it as a continuous? That it can have the infinite possible values.
No, it's a continuous process, or like whatever the values are continuously growing or decreasing at a different rates. Like the rate is not fixed here. For
Why?
example,
Between two numbers, like there are many
yeah, we can
combinations
draw a number
possible.
of points.
Because we can
So we
perform
can
aggregate
take forever
functions.
to count
You
them.
guys tell me, can't I measure my fever? Exactly what is my fever?
in
I
dice
can
we
measure.
cannot, in dice we cannot compare two values, but in height or age or in any continuous variable we can compare two values.
Why
21.
we cannot compare dice? You have thrown one time you got 2, next time you got 6. I can compare 6 is more than 2.
Yeah.
And can't I measure my fever? Exactly what is my fever? We are able to measure 99, 101, 103.28. Correct? Then why it is continuous? देखो ऐसा करके इंटरव्यू में पिटाई करता है इंटरव्यूअर, ठीक है? तो
Because we can
be
perform
ready for
aggregate
these kind of
functions.
questions. Yes, sorry.
Because we can perform aggregate functions and continuous.
You can do that onto discrete as well. So what's the difference then in between these two? ठीक है, I'll explain you. Good, you have fought very well, but finally I am the trainer, so I will always win. Correct? I am supposed to win. Correct, Gurshil?
Yeah.
Correct. Okay. There is no confidence in your voice. You're not agreeing my win, or you still want
No,
to
no.
fight? You should
No,
agree.
it's not like that. No, it's not
Correct.
like that.
Okay, guys. Simply. So on the serious notes, now what happens whenever you are measuring your temperature? Okay, suppose in digital thermometer I'm measuring my temperature, so you are getting values like 101.38, 97.89. Yes or no? We are getting something like that in digital thermometers. Now
Yeah.
problem is, see, this is the infinite value. Now your fever can take any infinite set of any value from the infinite set of value. The problem is you don't have the scale to measure. You have limit your measurement systems to the 2 float positions, 0.2 precision. Okay, you have limited your scale to 0.2. Otherwise what happens, what is the value of pi?
3.1.
3.1468927182190182169. It is something loud. Still people are calculating what is the exact value of pi. Yes or no? But what we are doing, we are only taking this much. You know this particular thing or you don't know?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
know.
we know.
Yes.
The people who doesn't know, they do the Googling. Okay, so basically what is the problem? Why we are not able to get the exact value of pi? Because you don't have the measurement systems available. Now here in your system, temperature measurement system, you have made it onto the 2 decimal points. If you will not make it into the 2 decimal points, it will be something like that. It is possible or not that it will be keep on extending?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
So that is why it is continuous. But can it happen into the case of dice?
No.
Not at all possible by any way.
No.
Correct? So remember, interviewer can start beating you onto these kind of questions. That are you aware and clear onto the concepts or not? So now is it clear what is the difference between continuous and discrete?
Yeah.
Yes.
It looks like discrete, but actually it is continuous. It can take any infinite set of value. It is the only thing is you don't have the measurement scale. Age can be measured as 10 years, 11 months, 12 hours, 5 seconds, 5 minutes, 8 seconds, 1 nanosecond, 0.01 millisecond to some other kind of second. So you can keep on going into the further and further sub segment of the measurement, right? But the problem is we don't have that level of scale available. Same thing is the weight. Correct. Weight also, again, you have done the precision. So weight is also, you cannot get any infinite number of values. Otherwise, these are the possibility is very high that it can take any value. So that is why we are calling these numbers as continuous and remaining one as a discrete. So these things can be asked to you into an interview. What is categorical, what is numerical, what is quantitative, qualitative, what is discrete, what is qualitative, continuous variable. So these things can be asked. So very basic things we have already seen into our previous at the time of schooling, but now the way they will be asked to you will be different. Okay.
Okay.
Now a scale of measurement. So data has been divided into 4 types of scales. Okay, so first is nominal scale. So what happens? Nominal scale is basically the data. Okay, you guys read the definitions. Okay, I'll just discuss the concept. So nominal scale. Nominal scale is basically the type of data on which you cannot do any kind of mathematical operation and they don't carry any kind of numerical information. For example, gender, color, race. Okay, so all these types of variables are called as nominal variables. Can I do any sort of mathematical operation onto these kind of variables? Possible?
No.
Only if we can
No.
count them around, but else.
More.
Counting is okay, different thing, but it's not basically arithmetic operation. You cannot do arithmetic. Now second thing is are they carrying any sort of numerical information?
No.
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 Then what kind of information they carry?
Qualitative.
They
Qualitative.
carry the qualitative information. Perfect. Nominal. Another type of set is ordinal scale, ordinal data. Ordinal data is basically a data which carries certain type of certain amount of numerical information, but still you cannot do any arithmetic operation onto that. For example, ranks. Okay, so you remember in the classes we are getting ranks, rank 1, rank 2, rank 3, rank 4. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Now suppose one person got again another rank 4, 4, 4, 5, 6. Next rank will be starting from 7, 8, like that happens. Correct? Now, can I do the mathematical operation onto the rank data? Arithmetic operations?
No.
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 Correct? We cannot do. But they carry certain sort of numerical information. We know 1 is better than 2. Yes or no? 4 is better than 7.
Yes.
Yes, so certain amount of numerical information it carries, greater than or less than or something like that, but still you cannot do the arithmetic operation onto that. So this kind of data is called as ordinal data. It is clear, nominal and ordinal difference,
Yeah.
guys? Okay,
Yes.
now interval data. So another type of data is interval data. So what is interval data? Sometimes we are doing the bucketing. Okay, so what is bucketing? So 0 to 5 age, how many people? Suppose 10 people. 5 to 10 age, how many people? Suppose 20 people are from 5 to 10 age. 10 to 15 age. So 10 to 15 age, only 8 people. 15 to 20 age. Suppose I have these many people for 15 to 20. So this is called as interval data. So when you are doing the basket, you are doing the binning and you are doing the segmentation of data in the form of interval. Okay, so that is called as interval data. So again, certain sort of count you can do, certain sort of information they carry, but onto the interval again, it is not possible to do a proper arithmetic operations. Okay, so that is called as interval data when you are doing binning. Now another type of data type is basically ratio data. Now ratio data are your pure numbers where you can do any kind of arithmetic operation. Okay, simple 24, 25, 26, 27, where you can do anything. Okay, this is called as basically your ratio type of data. So 4 types are there. In 4 types we have segregated the data. So remember and memorize these. Okay. Okay, sampling. Now, what is sampling? A sample is a smaller, but hopefully hopefully a representative collection of units from population used to determine the truth about the population. So what is the definition of sample? Sample is a smaller data set collection, but hopefully a representative. So it should be a representative of your population. It should not be differing from your population. Okay, so where all these places are that where it can differ from the population, how sample can different from the population? Why we are saying that it can be different from the population when we are collecting it from the same population?
Like the sample may fall in the outliers, or like which region it may
Correct. It
We
They
can only
should
take
not
similar
be
kind of
containing
sample.
the exact number, and they are a
Like,
group of numbers.
if you have a population of male and female, we can only take male or female.
correct.
By,
Biasness should not be there. It should not be having the outliers available. Suppose you have taken 10 values out of 100, all 10 are outliers, or 7, 8 are outliers. So those are all the problems. So basically my sample should be the representative of my population. And why we do the sampling? Because resources and workload. Sometimes we don't have time, we don't have resources, we don't have money, and it gives the results with the known accuracy that can be calculated mathematically. Okay, so you will understand sample frame later when we will discuss the sampling methods. So multiple types of sampling methods are available. So what is your population of interest? So to whom do you want to generalize our results? For example, all the doctors, school children, Indians, women aged 15 to 45. So these things can be the population from which we can collect the sample out of it. So can you sample the entire population? So guys, tell me one thing, what do you think? Can we do analysis of the whole population itself? And if yes, in what cases? If no, then anyways we know the sampling method. What is your opinion?
Yeah, we can do
Hmm.
the analysis on the whole population, but the efforts what we are doing might be more.
Okay, so simple thing I'll tell you. Yes, you can do the analysis onto your entire population, but when your population is very small, when you have extensive resources, when you don't expect a very high response. So basically, if you have resources available, then do the analysis onto the whole population. Nobody will stop you. Okay. So yes, we can do it, but generally we are using a sample, and we will see the sampling process, how to do the sample analysis in the next to next class. Okay, so three factors that influence the sample representativeness. So on which three factors sample representativeness is depending? Sampling procedure, what sampling procedure you are taking, we will see that. Sample size. So now in my class 100 people are there. So if I will be only taking the 2 people out of the 100, can I rely on that analysis on that kind of sample where only 2 people are available out of 100?
No.
no.
Okay, and suppose if I'm taking 90-95, then what is the point of doing sampling? Correct. So now what should be the sample size? So that is also one more factor which we will see into the next upcoming slides. Sampling procedure we will see later. Participation or response. Sampling procedure and sample size we can control. Now participation and response is basically how general public is giving the feedback. So for example, you guys are doing the what we call it, you are doing survey. Okay, now sometimes whenever we are going to some malls and some places, they are asking us to put the feedback. When you are going to some restaurants, for example Absolute Barbecue, they will ask you to fill their feedback form onto the tab. Is it happening or not happening?
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
So now what happens, we want to leave early and we are in hurry, so what we do, we just do tick 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 on everything. Yes or no? Correct. So
Yeah.
that is a biased feedback. Participation is not proper. For example, now if I will ask Gurshil, what is your salary? So there is a possibility Gurshil will tell me his wrong salary, and I will be taking that data into consideration. Then my analysis will go for toss. So participation, you cannot do anything. It is on to the individual's choice. If they will lie, they will lie. You can't do anything. Okay. And this is a very big problem, participation into the data science domain, because you cannot force people to participate as per your will. Okay. So these three factors are influencing the sample representativeness. Okay. Okay. Now, types of sampling. Okay. So we will discuss now what all are the type of samplings available. Again, I'll discuss the, I will discuss the only conceptual part. Theory you can read it at your home, because I'll not be reading the slides for you. First type of sampling method is simple random sampling. Okay. Now, I'll tell you what is simple random sampling. Simple random sampling is very simple. Nothing. Suppose I have this class available, you have a population available, and you will simply go and randomly pick some 10 observation from this population. This is called a simple random sampling. Okay. Now, nothing is there into simple random sampling. You will just simply go, you will just pick some 10 samples randomly, and you will create a sample population for your analysis. Simply, it is called as random sampling. Now, you guys tell me, what are the advantages and disadvantages do you think with simple random sampling?
There is no much effort needed in this.
There is no much effort needed. It is very easy, very simple to use. It is not complex method. That is one very big advantage of random sampling. Okay. What is the problem?
It's a probability.
Biasness.
You may take like
Biasness.
Outliers.
Because now there can be the possibility of outliers. There might be the possibility all the samples which you have taken are females. All the
Yes.
people which you have collected are male. Okay, all the people which you have collected into this sample are Gurshil or Madhusudan or these kind of people who are my very good friends. So they will always give the positive feedback about me. It is possible or not possible?
Yes.
Correct. Correct, Madhusudan. You will give negative feedback about me or positive?
Depends.
Sir, but it may contain
Okay, so now
errors
whenever
also.
any job opportunity and requirement will come, then I'll refer Gurshil and I will think on the depends thing that should I refer Madhusudan or not. Okay, so thanks for the answer. So fine. So now simple random sampling. Yes, madam, you were saying something.
Sir, in
Neha.
sir, in then it may contain a good amount of errors.
It can contain good amounts of error. It can be highly biased. So these are the problem with the simple random sampling. Yes, possible. Up to certain extent, I can control the outliers and all these things by removing them, by doing the box plot analysis and all that. But still there are chances that all females will come, all of my friends will come, all of my enemies will come, right?
Sir, exactly. Like if we want to have a categorical group of people, so it will be difficult for us to categorize them and
All these are the
separate
problems.
out a sample.
Yes, all these are the problems with the random sampling, if you will go with this. Okay. So again, now another type of problem in this sample is, for example, you have done the sampling and majority of the people who came, they are like Madhusudan kind of people. So this is the problem of participation. Okay, so you need the participation in the form of yes or no. But now Madhusudan is saying depends. Correct? So now it is a problem of this particular kind. Correct? Responsiveness. Yes or no? Participation. Now your candidate is not participating and you cannot force your candidate to participate. So, and this particular thing you cannot control. I can control sample size and sampling type, but participation I cannot really control. So you can get any type of people and there is no way so you can control them. Understood or not understood, guys?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Now simple random sampling is simple. Now you guys can read it on your own. What are disadvantages and advantages? Now another type of sampling method is systematic sampling. Okay, so systematic sampling is basically in simple way, we are arranging the data in a certain order. So for example, simply I'll show you what is systematic sampling. Systematic sampling is this. So what I'm doing, basically I will decide one value of k. Suppose k is equal to 3, k is equal to 5, k is equal to 7. Now I have decided k is equal to 3. Now every third person in my data set I will pick as a sample. So this is my population. Now in my this population, every third person I will be picking this person, this person, this person. So there is a less possibility that I will be getting all the points from a certain area. Okay, so that is called a systematic sampling. So it will reduce some of the biasness from the random sampling. So
is there any constraint for systematic sampling?
So now this is the pros and cons part. So do you guys tell me what all are the advantages and disadvantages you think into this kind of sampling method?
Sometimes the data might be like following some pattern. So in that one, like if we follow the systematic sampling, it might be
correct.
biased.
Possibility that every third person is Madhusudan, possible or not possible? Every third person is female. Every third person is male. every third person belongs to Tamil Nadu, every third person belongs to Rajasthan, some hidden periodicity, some hidden pattern, possible or not possible?
Yeah.
Less chances are there, but possibility is there, correct? So again, systematic sampling in a way better than random sampling, definitely, correct? But somewhere or some point of time when there is a hidden pattern, this sampling method is very bad. Okay, so this is called a systematic sampling, okay, where every third value you will be getting. Now another type of sampling method, stratified sampling. Okay, now stratified sampling is the most important sampling method, and this you have to understand what is stratified sampling. Okay,
Sir,
yes.
sir, I have a question. Sir,
Hmm.
how it is better than random sampling?
Because what is happening, because you are choosing every third person. So now what is happening in random sampling, there is a possibility that all the 5 people which you have chosen are these people, or
Yeah.
probably these people. Possible or not
Yes.
possible? Randomly you are picking, anything can be possible, or all these people are coming into your sample, or there is a possible your random sample is taking this person, or every third person. Anything is possible in random, but in systematic, definitely every third person it will be picking. So all the people from this section will not come, or this section will not come. So certain sort of process we have defined into systematic, so it is better than random.
Means like we are covering entirely
Sir,
data.
Yes, correct.
sir, can we say it as like it is a form of skewness?
No, skewness is basically distribution of data. This is sampling. Sampling is basically collecting the data. We are not interested into the distribution. We are collecting the good sample for our analysis. Unbiased good sample. Okay. Now, third thing, stratified sampling. So I'll tell you what is stratified sampling. Suppose you are having a data set available where you have all these variables available. For example, gender, okay, occupation, okay. Now suppose you are having age available, correct? So these kind of variables are available. Then salary, something available, correct? Suppose these variables are available. Now what will happen into stratified sampling? Suppose this is your data set. Okay, this is your data set, and your data set contains 1,000 observations, 1,000 rows. Now what will happen? First, my data will be divided onto the basis of gender. So you will be having male and you will be having female. Now how many males are there? Suppose there are 400 male and there are 600 female. So now this particular two segments on which I have divided the data is called as a strata. Strata is a subset of your data set which will be designed onto the basis of the variable specification. So a strata is a segment of your data which is containing a single feature. So this is one strata and this is another strata. Okay, now in this strata 600 people are available, in this strata 400 people are available. Now occupation, suppose in occupation variable you have these occupations available, salaried and non-salaried. Okay, now further subdivision will happen. Now these are salaried and these are non-salaried. Similarly, these are salaried and these are non-salaried. Suppose out of 400, 200 are salaried and 200 are non-salaried. Here 300 are salaried, 300 are non-salaried. How many stratas I have now?
4.
4 strata. Now salary. Now suppose I am dividing onto the basis of salary greater than $5,000 and less than $5,000. Okay. Now again further subdivision will happen. Now salary less than $5,000, greater than $5,000, less than $5,000, greater than $5,000. Similarly, less than $5,000, greater than $5,000. In non-salaried again, less than $5,000, greater than $5,000. Now in this strata, suppose total salaried are 200. Out of 200, suppose 50 are less than 5,500 and 150 are like this. Here again, suppose 200, and here you have 100. Here you have again out of 300, 150. 150 we will split it up. Here we will split it up again, 250, and we will split it up in 50. So how many stratas we have now?
So I have a question.
I think for non-salaried there will be no.
8
But
stratas.
if they are non-salaried, then how the salary can be divided?
So salary basically, okay. So salary basically what you can take it up as this particular as account balance, something like that for then ease. Okay, your salary then they will be 0% will be having, but I want some people, so make it as account balance instead of salary. Okay, less than 5,000, greater than 5,000. Now is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Now how many stratas are there? 8 stratas, right? So now what we will be doing, we will be collecting 10 samples from each strata. Okay, and then finally I will be having 80 observations available. Now what are the advantages and disadvantages you can tell me of stratified sampling?
We are taking each and every group of people.
Correct.
Like
My
No
data will be,
biasness.
my sample will be unbiased.
Yeah.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
And I will be able to capture all the parameters of my data set properly.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
So stratified is one of the best sampling method available into the market right now. Now what are the disadvantages? Advantages
Procedure
are
is lengthy.
procedure is lengthy. Now this problem will happen with the algorithm also. So algorithm will do all this work. You will not be doing it manually. There is a stratified sampling library is available which will do internally. But now what will happen now? It will run for a longer time. It may probably take some 10 minutes depending on to your data size, right, to run. So that is one problem. The procedure will be lengthy. And what else?
Work resources.
More resources, correct.
Yeah.
Complexity will increase the resources. Yes. And
Yeah.
so these are the problems, right, into the stratified sampling and the stratified sampling method. So it is the time consuming and resource consuming procedure. But on the other hand, this is one of the superior procedure which can actually handle out your problems. So out of these three, random, systematic, and stratified, which one is better? Stratified is definitely better, correct. So now what happens now, whenever any interviewer will ask you about sampling, what is sampling method, what is sampling procedure, remember this thing, they always want to hear this keyword stratified sampling from your mouth. Okay, even though interviewer is not asking what is stratified and they have asked you sampling, you have to explain stratified sampling. Okay, it is very important. Sometimes they will directly ask you what is stratified. Sometimes they will indirectly ask you how you will handle the sample biasness, which sample method is best. So you have to try to include in your answer stratified sampling some way or other way. Okay, so any question till here? Random.
I have one doubt over here. So in the first strata and the second strata, we are having 50 people in the first and 150 in the second one. But we are taking 10 from each one of them. So isn't it wrong?
See, certain sort of biasness will always be there. So somewhere you have to do the compromise. So if I will not do this, then what will happen? There will be that particular biasness where one of the class I am giving the majority. I mean, I am giving the weightage. So that particular kind of simple little bit biasness will always be there into your sample. But again, compared to previous two methods, this method is very, very superior. So yes, that can be the issue.
Is it possible that I can take the like amount in the perspective of ratio? Like let's suppose it's 50
no, no. Basically what happens, you can define the number of samples to be collected from each strata, but you cannot define the ratio, how many you should collect from each of the particular strata. So that is not possible. Because the functionality doesn't give you this method, but you can define your own stratified random sampling algorithm. There you can do, if you want to do this kind of thing. So there it is possible that you do, but it is a very extensive calculation for selecting this. You have to segregate the data, then you have to find out the proportion, then you have to pick on the basis of each proportion. It will become more lengthier. So recommendations are that let's not do that, and the existing in stratified sampling also doesn't do that. And the point of time, what you will do, you will go and you will interfere into the samples in this way. Then the sample will no more be unbiased sample. It is a biased sample, because on the basis of your conditions, it is now collecting the sample. I want the sample to be totally unbiased as much as possible. Then it will no more be unbiased sample. Right, because I'm giving weightage to one class more than rather than another class. Simple example is, I'll tell you one thing. So what happens in many of the places we are seeing this thing, that there is a female salary parity is there, right? Males are getting paid more, but females are not getting paid that much, right? So these kind of parities are happening, right? So what is happening, because they are not taking their opinion, they are not taking their feedbacks. One of the biggest area where females are not at all given any opportunity and or something like that is the automobile area. Cars, have you seen any car specifically designed for female? Have you seen anytime any car? Okay. Have you seen any two-wheeler designed for female specifically?
Yeah.
Yes, right. They are giving them charger, they are giving them some trendy colors, they are giving them some trendy shapes for that two-wheeler, right? And they are giving lot of things. They are giving the space within the seat, like, okay, they want this. So now this particular two-wheeler section, they have targeted a particular area, and they have taken females' opinion also. They have given, like, average height of female in India is very less. I will not be able to drive the bike. Okay, when I'm going onto the bike, I want to carry my makeup kit, and I want to carry my bottle, I want to carry my charger, which generally males are not doing in this way. So now they have taken that feedback and they have designed a one pure full-fledged section into two-wheeler domain, and that is doing very well. Right now, same problem is into the automobile domain. We never ever have given any thought process like, what about the design of car with respect to the female candidates? So we have never targeted this section. So anybody who is joining into automobile, they can give them this particular idea, and probably they can put up one product for this section, and they can earn a large number of profits. So biases should not be there. Okay, decision should be unbiased. Okay.
And also you told that everything is done by the algorithm. So over here you are taking
you will not be doing anything. Whatever I'm showing you on screen, everything will happen internally. I have just told you to understand what is happening into the background. You will not be able to do none of these things. You will be just passing the data set and you will get the sample. That's all. I told you the backend process.
So this account balance, which is 5,000 less than 5,000, greater than 5,000, how it's considering?
Automatically, it will do the binning by finding out the center value. By finding out the average value, it will do the binning.
Okay.
Yes, less than this, greater than this. And if you want to do binning on your own, so what you can do, in the age column, you can write your own some simple code, and you can do, if anything which is greater than 3,000, make it as 1, anything which is less than 3,000, make it 0. So you can do your own binning also, if you don't want that algorithm binning. Okay. Yep. Then what you do, drop age column, and the new column which you have derived, age underscore derived column, that you pass into the stratified. Okay. Any other questions for stratified sampling? It is one of the important procedure.
So after this binning, like, will the data is taken randomly into each bins? Like,
randomly it will pick 10 observations, because now all assumption is all are same in a one particular strata. All females are available in this strata. All females non-salaried which are having less than 500,000 $5,000 balance are available into this strata. So same type of females are there. All these males are of same type. All these females are of same type. So any value you pick it up.
So Utkarsh, like this is the perfect example. So let's just say in industry, we have a lot of million of transactional data.
Yes.
In what sampling procedure we usually take in those kind of data?
Okay. So now guys, there are two things. One thing is theory. Okay. So whatever we study in theory, in real time things are different. So now what happens now? From the interview point of view, which is the best sampling method? as per you?
Stratified.
Stratified. Now in industry, we are always, and I'm not saying 95%, 100% of the time, we are using random sampling. Okay. So when we are working into the industry, so whatever is the Gurshil's problem, like, okay, we are having million number of rows and transactions available, 1,000 variables are available. When you will go with the stratified sampling, my system will explode. That is the correct concern. So that answer, Gurshil, is we are always using the simple random sampling because of the problem which you are worrying about. And that is a correct concern. Yes, that is the problem with the stratified sampling. But when you will go into the interview and you have told that we will always be using the random sampling and that is the best sampling method, they will not hire you. They will only hire you when you will be telling them stratified is the best. Okay. And later you can tell them, sir, I am always using the simple random sampling because of these reasons. Stratified is very complex, lengthy algorithm. It consumes a lot of resources when you are working with the big data sets. So I'm going with the random sampling, generally speaking. Okay. So in industry is fully using the random sampling method mechanism. We will be making the models by using random sampling only, but there are systematic sampling, stratified sampling. And another thing is, see, nobody will stop you, guys. If it's not like that hard and fast rule that you have to use only random. If you want to do the stratified, you can do that. Nobody will stop you. But I have never used it. I have used it once only, just for using purpose. What is happening now, when in industry you are working, everybody is using random sampling, so we just follow the crowd. Okay, everybody is doing the data science, I will also do. Okay, everybody is switching the company, I will also switch. ऐसा होता है ना, when few of your friends will resign from the company, you will also resign. ऐसा होता है या नहीं होता है?
Yeah.
Correct. So whole team will resign. Okay, and in the last, when exit interview happens, why you have resigned? Because मेरा friend भी चला गया था, so I also resigned. So that is what. So now same thing, everybody is using the simple random sampling, so I also use simple random, and you will also be using the simple random sampling, because your managers and businesses will not take your analysis acceptable, because see, they are used to work with the simple random sampling. Rules are defined with the simple random sampling thing, that okay, this much of error is possible because we are doing random sampling. So many of the things are there, many of the concerns, causes are there, but we should know all the concepts. Okay, any other questions, guys, for stratified sampling or any other type of sampling?
For the stratified sampling, is there any rule for this?
There is no rule. Algorithm will internally do the division on the basis of your data available.
Okay.
Right. So gender column, you have two values are possible, male and female. So it will automatically split up by finding out the unique values, male and female section. It will count internally and it will do the segregation. Okay. Okay, guys. Next type of sampling mechanism. So this is simple example I have taken, strata. So you will create a woman strata and man strata, and then you will be picking the few women and few men from the both the stratas. Then the chances of biasness will be very, 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 very less as compared to other remaining two sampling mechanisms. Okay, so simple example I have given, but on the screen I have drawn the example for you for a bigger data set. Okay. Cluster sampling. Okay, cluster sampling, you guys have to wait till the machine learning classes will start. So in machine learning classes, we will see one algorithm, clustering. Okay, so when we will see that clustering class, in that clustering class we will discuss about the cluster sampling, because right now I will not be able to explain you cluster sampling, because it will take some, I need some 1 hour to explain cluster. So cluster you will understand when we will be going into clustering algorithm. And one of the interview question is, what is the difference between a strata and a cluster? So we will discuss this into clustering classes. So for today, you just turn a blind eye on this and let's leave it for today. When we will go into clustering classes, we will discuss cluster sampling. Okay. So you have to give me some 7-8 classes of time. 9-10 classes of time, I think. Okay, now I have written already what is the difference between strata and cluster, but don't read these slides as of now. We will discuss later. Another type of sampling method is convenience sampling. So what is convenience sampling? Simple example is this. Okay, so convenience sampling is basically where it is very less time consuming and very much less complex. So what happens, suppose you are sitting into the office, okay, and simply what I will do, I'll just ask Gurshil, okay Gurshil, what do you think how I am teaching? Am I teaching well or I am teaching bad? Gurshil will say, no sir, you are teaching very well. Now what happens, this is called as convenience sampling. And now what will happen, I will assume this particular feedback for the whole class. Now there is a possibility that, see, there is a problem with the convenience sampling, but again this is the cheapest sampling method available, and you just directly go and to your nearby colleague, you ask, okay, how I am studying, what do you think, will I be able to get the job in data science or not? And this guy will say yes or no, and that is called as basically convenience sampling. So what are the advantages and disadvantages of convenience sampling?
Again, bias, like whether
It's like less
Less
time
time
consuming.
consuming.
Less time
Biased.
consuming.
Because Gurshil will always say good things about me. Very highly biased sampling method, right? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Yeah, non-negativity is a big
Yes.
minus for this.
Gurshil is my friend, guys, so I'll support him in any case, right? He is only backing me, correct? So okay, so now convenience sampling. So so should we use convenience sampling anywhere, or should we avoid totally?
Should avoid.
We can use.
No, yeah, we should avoid totally, because it can be highly biased, correct? Highly
Chances
biased,
of
very
going
heavily
wrong is
biased.
more.
It can give us a false data.
See, either it will give you a very highly true hope, or it will give you highly false hope, correct? So that is the problem. So we should avoid convenience sampling. We should always. So which one do you think is the best sampling method out of all these things?
Stratified.
Stratified. Cluster sampling is also good, but cluster sampling, when we will discuss, then I'll explain you what is the difference. Cluster is also good, but industry is using the random sampling. Okay, so we will see in the
Sir,
codes how to do it. Yes.
I have a question.
Yes,
Like
Neha.
during initial days, COVID vaccines were tested on the population. So were we following random sampling or this
That was random sampling. That was not stratified. Okay, so now it is happening in a stratified way. See, when initially it started, it was random, but now what is happening? Now it is stratified, because now what they are doing, after initial days, what they have started doing, they have created the sections: young people, old age people. Now kids also has been taken, right? So this is a strata now. That is now stratified sampling, because on a particular stratum they are doing this particular analysis, right? Previously they have divided the age section 18 to 45, 1 to 18, and 45 plus. So 3 stratas was created. So that was stratified, and from these stratas they were picking randomly some people for giving the vaccines, right? And then they were analyzing the results. So what was happening, what they found out, efficiency of my vaccine is 80%. That means 20% people has reacted negatively on my vaccine, COVID vaccine, right? Okay. Any other example can you give me about the random sampling? General life example? Or stratified sampling, systematic sampling? Have you heard of exit polls?
Yes.
Which kind of sampling is exit polls?
Random.
It's a random sampling again. Okay, so exit polls is not, it's not like that they are going to whole India's population. No, they will just take some randomly some sample when you will be coming out of the booth. So they will just ask you, okay sir, which party you have given the vote. Now the problem is there is a possibility of outlier and the biased people, like all the samples which you are collecting might be biased, right? So these things can happen. Okay, and these things can sometimes become disastrous for a company. So always remember that sampling procedures are correctly done and models built up are correctly built models. Okay, I have seen companies closing down because of the poor sampling methodology. Okay, I'll give you one example. There was one German magazine. Okay, very famous German magazine. Now what happens, they wanted to do a one analysis like which particular party will be going to win in Germany, party 1 or party 2. Now what they have done, rather going to the outside population, what they have done, they told we have a database available who is reading our magazine. Okay, so we will just directly go, because we have some 10 million people available, we'll just take a sample out of this population and we will do analysis. They have taken and they have told that party 1 will be going to win. But what happened, party 1 disastrously lost into the election, and party 2 has made sure that they have closed the magazine office. You know, do you know about this channel? Anybody is seeing Republic TV?
Yes.
Arnab
Yeah.
Goswami.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Yes.
just you think about, before 2014 Arnab Goswami was an employee, and after 2014 he's an entrepreneur. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Correct. So because he has predicted correctly which party will be going to win, and he has supported that particular party, so now he's reaping the benefit. And on the another hand, before 2014 NDTV was on top, and now you know NDTV and Rabish Kumar, what is happening. Correct.
Yeah.
You know, so these things can happen with the wrong sampling. Okay, so sampling procedures are very much important. So in this way I can say Arnab Goswami is a better data scientist as compared to Ravish Kumar, right? So sampling methods can destroy you also, has the power to destroy the company. So sampling should be proper. Okay, are you liking the examples or not?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Sir, it is good.
कार वाला example कितना अच्छा था. It is a strategy, right? New strategy. Correct?
Yeah.
Sir, I have one question. So, is
Yes,
there any
Gurshil.
way, is there any way to reduce the biasness even in random as well? Just like you just said, के company down हो जाती है, and
Correct.
yeah. So,
Yeah, see, yes, you can do up to certain extent. So up to certain extent, what all things you guys can do initially, that one thing is you guys know now how to remove the outliers. By using scatter plots and by using the box plots, you can only take the 68% data for your analysis. And from the 68% population, now you draw a sample. Then your sample will be unbiased as from the outlier point of view. That is something you can do. And probably what you can do then, if you want to also avoid the biasness, then probably you can go with the stratified sampling, because if in say, random you will use, then in random that particular tension will always be there. So some sort of initial EDA you can do, cleaning of your data set you can do to avoid it up to certain extent. Yes, possible and doable.
okay.
Yes.
Okay.
See what happens now, but when we will do this particular things, and then if you're removing outliers and removing that 30% of the data, so basically I'm like ignoring that 30% population, so that is also the problem, right? So now what happens, generally what people does now, people directly take the sample from the whole available population, they don't do any cleaning and all that, but I do generally for better results. So what I do now, I generally do this cleaning and all, and then I collect a sample and then I do the analysis and I submit the results. So what happens, my majority of the time what happens now, my model work fine onto the in the production area, in the production environment. So do that, you guys can also do that cleaning and all. Okay.
Sir, but in large data sets, following all these procedures will take a very long time.
Yes. So have you read on Google or Quora somewhere that the model building is just 1 hour time, data cleaning and exploration is the thing which takes a lot of time. Data cleaning is the thing which takes the lot of time. Have you read something like that on Google or somewhere?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And this, so whatever now we guys are studying, these are the reasons why it takes. So yes, that will be taking Sneha, and we can't do anything. You have to spend that time.
So the persons then doing all the things they do, those will be the same person, or there will be a different category of persons?
Yeah, this depend company to company. Okay, in few of the companies what happens, right now for example in my company, so I'm into Goldman Sachs. Okay, so in Goldman Sachs we are having the different teams available. We have data engineering team, we have machine learning team, then we have something different teams available, visualization team. So they do separately for us. But again, if you are going into mid-sized company or a smaller company, you might be doing all this work. So as a data scientist you should know all these things.
Yes.
Okay, so you should know all these particular things, because what happens now, data scientist will be the driving force behind all these teams. Because see what happens, data engineer doesn't know how machine learning works. Machine learning engineer knows, a data scientist or machine learning people knows how data engineering works, how visualization works. We will be learning all these things, so you should be knowing all the things. The only thing is you can target data engineering side also, visualization side also, or separately machine learning side also, but then salaries will be less. Okay, bigger will be your role, bigger will be your salaries. So that's why you should be knowing each and everything. Okay. Okay, Sneha, does that answer your question?
Yes.
Yep. Okay. Okay, any other questions, guys? Okay, now I'll move on to the next part. Statistical inference. So statistical inference, before I will go, okay, I need to explain you the distribution, but we can delay that distribution explanation. So statistical inference is the process of making guess about the truth from a sample. Okay, so same thing, basically inferential statistics. Before we will go into that, we will discuss about few of the fundamental definitions. We will see what is this interval estimation. Now, first, I'll discuss some concept. Okay, suppose I went into our class, 50 people, and I have collected a sample of 10 people. I want to analyze what is the average salary of this class. So I went to different people. Okay, suppose I went to different people. I asked, okay, one person told me my salary is 11.11 lakh, 10.58 lakh, 6.92 lakh, 9.96 lakh, 11.46 lakh, 12 lakhs, okay, 10 lakhs, and then 9.96 lakhs, okay, and 10.86 lakhs. So I have collected some 10 samples, and this is the sample I got. Okay, now I want to find out the average salary of my class. What should I do? Tell me.
You can find the mean.
We can find.
Okay, mean or median, which one should I find out?
Outliers is there.
Outlier is there, but okay, that outlier is it not very far from the average value. So let's take as of now mean. So probably my mean came as 10.46. Okay, for example, let's assume mean value is 10.46. So can I say on the basis of this sample, the average salary of my population is 10.46 lakhs? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, now I have done this analysis on my class. Now I went to Sneha. I asked Sneha, I know your salary. Sneha will say, okay, sir, tell me what is my salary. Sneha, your salary is 10.46 lakhs. Sneha will say, no, sir, my salary is 11.12. Okay. I went to Gurshil. I told Gurshil, I know your salary, it is 10.46 lakh. Gurshil will say, no, sir, my salary is 10.58 lakhs. You are wrong. Okay, fine. I went to Ankita. Ankita, your salary is 10.46 lakh. Ankita will say, no, sir, my salary is 9.96 lakhs. And this is a problem now? Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
Now,
Yes.
this particular estimate which we have calculated is a mean value, and this is also called as point estimate. Okay, now this is a point estimate. Now what I will do, rather than doing this, what I will do, I will calculate a margin. How to calculate, we will see. Suppose 10.46 plus minus, suppose 2 lakhs. So probably I'm getting the value as, suppose 9 lakhs to margin I'm getting 12 lakhs, something like that. Or 2 lakhs is too high, probably yes, 9.45 lakhs to 11 lakhs something I got the margin. Okay, now this is my analysis. Now again I went to Sneha. That Sneha, I know your salary, that your, suppose for safer side, suppose your salary is lying between 9.4 lakhs to 11.46 lakhs. So Sneha will say, yes sir, you are correct. Now Gurshil, your salary is lying in between 9.4 lakhs to 11.56 lakhs. Gurshil will say, yes sir, You are correct. My salary is lying into this particular range. So now this particular kind of analysis is called as interval estimate. Okay. So now how to calculate interval estimate, I will teach you. Okay. Right now, just I'm making the base for you guys. Now, what do you think? Which one is better, point estimate or interval estimate? Interval estimate. Chances are very high that the true value about your population will be lying into this particular interval.
Yes.
Correct. So this is a pure example of inferential statistics. We are inferring the truth about the population in the interval estimate from the sample which we have calculated. So basically, truth about the population is lying between this range, which we have calculated from the inferential. Let's read the slides now. So a point estimator cannot be expected to provide the exact value of the population parameter. So an interval estimate can be computed by adding and subtracting a margin of error from the point estimate. So point estimate plus minus margin of error will give you the interval estimate. So purpose of the interval estimate is to provide information how close the point estimate is to the value of the parameter. So how, if your true value of the population is lying into the interval or not. Simply how you can calculate interval estimate, x bar plus minus margin of error. Okay, so now before discussing how to calculate the interval estimate, I have to explain you something called as distribution. Okay, then we will discuss how to calculate it. Okay, which distribution is this?
Normal distribution.
Normal distribution.
Normal distribution.
Normal distribution.
Okay. And which distribution is this?
Again, normal.
Okay.
Normal.
So this is the normal distribution. Okay. Now this is the standard normal distribution. Another name for standard normal distribution is Z distribution. Another name for Z distribution is zero distribution. Another name for zero distribution is Gaussian distribution. Remember all these names. Some books are calling it standard, some books are calling it Z, some books are calling it Gaussian, some books are calling it standard, zero distribution. Now, both looks like exactly same. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Correct. Now, difference between the standard normal distribution and normal distribution. Suppose I'm having a data set 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, something like that. Or one more, I will take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, odd number. So for example, right now, suppose what will be the mu here? 8. What will be sigma?
2.
Okay. Now what happened? Speciality of standard normal distribution for the same data set, for exactly the same data set, what will be the mu value? 0. Sigma value 1. Now the speciality of the standard normal distribution is for any data set, for any data, the mu will always be 0, sigma will always be 1. Okay, now confusion, how it is possible? Now what happens, we can convert a normal distribution into the standard normal distribution by using a simple formula which is called as z-score formula. Z-score formula is x bar minus mu upon sigma upon under root n. Okay, now in this formula, basically what we will be doing, we will be calculating the average, and basically for each value I will generate a z-score 2 minus 8 upon 2 divided by under root 7 total number of value count. So for 2 I will be generating some value 0.018. Okay, then for 4 I will again calculate 4 minus 8 divided by 2 divided by under root 7. I'll get some value 0.011, something like that I will get. So for each value I will generate one z-score. Now when each value you will be getting a z-score, and when you will be plotting it onto the standard normal distribution, so z-score is having a specialty that it will generate the distribution in such a way, it will generate the score in such a way that mu will be always 0 and sigma will be always 1. Okay, so that is what a normal distribution can be converted into the standard normal distribution by using the z-score formula. Okay, now this is one thing. Okay, till here, anybody is having any question, please ask. What are the questions? Then next part I'll tell you in this.
What is the need of converting into
Correct.
standard?
Why we convert the variance into standard deviation? Yes, guys, why we can convert this variance into standard deviation?
To make it unitless.
To make the data unitless. So the one reason is this: we do the standardization of our data by converting it into the standard normal distribution to make it unitless. Okay, that is the first reason. Okay, any other question? It's good. I think you guys are thinking it into that why we are doing this. That is the biggest reason into any of the concept. Any other question? Okay, why it is needed to make it as a unitless?
To compare different
Because
variables.
variance is a non-standardized data.
Standardization we have done, but why we want to make the data as unitless?
Otherwise, it will get cancel each other because.
No, that is the variance. That is what basically it will cancel out each other. I'll tell you simply one thing. Suppose I have one data set available where we have square feet, gender, okay, age, okay, something like that. Square feet is 2000, 2000, 1000, 1000, okay, 2000, okay, male, female, male, female, male. Age is 20, 21, 28, 29, 39 is the age. Okay, now this is a data set. Now what happens? Categorical variables, whenever you will be going to build the models, you will see you have to convert into numbers. So how I can convert this column into numbers?
We can
Maybe
take M
male
as
one
0,
or
FF1.
0, 1, 0, 1 I can do. Correct. Now it is also number. Now what happens? Now when you will be building up a model, I'll just give you one simple equation of regression. Regression equation is W1 x1 plus W2 x2 plus W3 x3. X1, X2, X3 are square feet, gender and age. Now tell me, can I do this mathematically?
No.
Can you perform the operation on square feet, gender and age?
No.
All three are different units, right?
Yes, sir.
Correct. So that is the biggest problem. That is the first problem. So now one thing is clear to you guys, why we have converted the data into the standard distribution to make the data unitless. Clear?
Yes.
So this equation can be executed. This is the first reason. Okay, now the second reason. Now in detail, again, you will understand into the machine learning classes, but we will see how much we can able to understand. Now you are seeing this particular thing, W1, W2, W3. Okay, this is called as weight. Now weight will be decided by on the basis of the importance of the particular variable, right? Suppose now what happens? Machine learning algorithms doesn't understand the data how you understand. So square feet, gender and age. So basically, suppose if I'm going to buy a house, okay, so is it important that gender is important when you are going to purchase a house, or if you will be selling your house to someone?
No.
No.
Correct. Gender is not important. Correct. Age is important.
No.
No.
Correct. Square feet is important.
Yes.
Yes.
It is important. Okay, now this is the very bad example. You guys will do a lot of cross question. Let me think one more variable. Okay, this is the variable garden. 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, something like that. Garden. Now garden is important when you are going to buy a house.
For some it will, for some
it may be on.
They are same price. If I'll give you garden, you will definitely buy. Correct. Then how for some it is important? It is important. Okay, you have to see, I understand, but you have to always go with your trainer. Otherwise, my story will deflect. Correct. I'm designing the stories. Okay, but yes, I agree. For some of the people, it is important. Some of the people, it is not important. But overall generic speaking, it is an important parameter.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And okay, because you have given me this particular answer, it is a very good and correct answer. But I'll tell you now, this is the reason why people have moved on to the data analytics and data science. Because what happens now, what is the problem with the human beings? I'll tell you. So tell me one thing if I'm right or wrong. And this is the reason why companies are pouring up money like anything into data analytics domain. Now, all of you know about Central Mall in Bangalore, at least who are from Bangalore.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I know.
So what is the biggest business of Central Mall? And you never went. Clothes,
Right.
Yes.
apparel items, right?
Branded clothes.
Correct.
All
I
brands.
mean, clothes, but are they selling food items also?
Yes.
Correct. They are having what we call it PVRs also available. They are having the movie business also. They are having the food courts.
Yes, sir.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Now tell me. Now there are some of you who always go to Central Mall for buying apparel items, right? There are some people who always go for food courts, correct? They don't buy anything because it is very costly. They always go and they always just eat something and they come back. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Correct. There are few of us who always go and just do the window shopping, correct? Yes or no?
Yes.
Possible. Now what happens, the problem with the people is the biasness. Now what happens, suppose if you will ask to Utkarsh, where Utkarsh, what do you think, what is the biggest business of this mall and what is that people opinion? Because I am a window shopper, what I will say, Arey, yaar, it is very costly, majority of the people are going for just window shopping, nobody buys nothing. I can say this kind of opinion. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Now Sneha like Nike shoes. So whenever you will ask to Sneha, Sneha, which shoe I should buy, she will always say Nike. Yes or no?
Yes.
Correct. So she's biased then towards Nike. Correct.
Yes.
And now the same thing happens into the company. Now what happens? Suppose me and Gurshil are working into the same companies. We are into board of directors. Correct. Now Gurshil is my competitor in board of director meeting. Now my CEO asked, okay, which company we should acquire? Now Gurshil is saying we should acquire Patanjali. Because now Gurshil is my competitor, I will say opposite. No, we should not take Patanjali, we should buy Ayur Central, Shri Ravi Shankar. Correct. That Ayurvedic company we should buy. Gurshil will say, no, what I am saying, that is true. And both of these people are now, what they are doing, they might be very experienced, they might be saying correct, but right now they are not thinking about the organization interest. They are thinking about their own interest. Yes or no? Both of the companies, when the CEO will acquire, he will get the profits, but there is a possibility that in Gurshil's suggestion, there will be the better profits, $10 million more as compared to my suggestion. But because I am more experienced than Gurshil, probably they will go with my opinion. Correct? Possible or not?
Yes.
Now, in data science domain, what happens now? All your decision making is backed by the data, on the basis of historical data, past data, and on the basis of future prediction. So that is why previously was what happening, people were biased. People are always biased. Okay, so for simply same person has told, no, why somebody will be interested into the garden? And definitely I am also into the similar category. When I will be going to buy any house, I will be looking for more square feet area to live rather than taking a garden. I will also not be interested into the garden. But then this is not true for Sneha and Gurshil. They might be looking for the garden because Sneha is doing meditation every day. Possible or not possible?
Possible.
Correct. So that means you are biased. So remember this thing. I have seen many of the people working into data science domain who are entered newly. Okay, what these people does, many of the time there is one guy who is working under me. So he came to me with his analysis one day. He told, sir, in this retail store, what is happening, sir? Majority of the people are sir buying liquor items. How it is possible, sir? In retail store, people are buying liquor items. So I told, no, why it is not possible? No, sir, because whenever we are going, there is a liquor shop, but majority of the people I have seen, they are not buying liquors. They are always buying. But no, that is your personal opinion. What data is saying, we will be going with that, and our decision making will be robust. Okay, and that is where companies are pouring money like anything into data science domain. I'll give you more example. That is why these people are very highly paid, because they are generating a lot of huge amounts of money for the companies. Okay, is it clear?
Yes.
This is the human bias. Okay, but okay, so as of now, to understand our story, now what happens? Weights. Now what will be happening, this weight calculation happens into the model. So now we are understanding the parameters on the basis of these strings: square feet, gender, age, and garden. But our machine doesn't understand what is square feet, what is gender, or what is age, or what is garden. How we understand? Agree or not? Yes or no? So now what my machine will do, it will see the quantification of the column in that particular data set. So now in which particular column you are seeing the highest ranges of data?
Square feet.
Square feet. So now what my model will do, my model will say weight for this square feet column is 2.8. Now gender column weight is 0.001. For age column weight is basically 0.8. Okay, because this is having more quantification compared to gender column. Yes or no?
Yes.
Correct. Now suppose again W4 X4, and here what will happen? Here also 0.01. Correct. Now what will happen, whenever you will be trying to calculate the price for any house, the majority of the contribution will be from which variable?
Or W1.
Square feet. W1.
Square feet. Correct. W1 and square feet, because square feet is highly biasing your model now. It is a biasness. Yes or no?
Yes.
The biasness, and this is a problem now, because you are not at all giving any priority to gender, age, and garden, which are again the important variables. Yes or no?
Yes.
Correct. And call it as a age of house, because we have went into house example. Now tell me, in this data set and this equation I have explained you, now tell me first of all what all things I should do here as per your knowledge.
Standardize like
Okay, standardization I have done. So so what will happen now when you will do the standardization of this data, when you will be running the Z distribution on this data, what will happen? All the data will come down into a range. It will become 0.08, 0.06, minus 0.08, minus 0.06, 0.05. It will become 0.01, 0.001, 0.008. So conversion will happen. Okay, so now what will happen, the weight calculation, whatever will happen, it will be like 0.18. Here the weight calculation will be 0.0001, 0.2, 0.02, 0.01. Okay, so this kind of weight, so weight, all your values will come under the particular range, and now weights will not be biased, and actually still this value is still more than compared to other values, right? But now it will not bias your model, it will give the equal opportunity to other variables also to come into the calculation part. Is it clear to everyone?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
now
so this weight is actually calculated by our algorithm, or like
by our algorithm.
Okay.
Our regression algorithm will calculate on the basis of the quantification of the column.
And sir, it is
Fatter
using
will be
Z
the
score,
range,
right?
fatter will be the weight. Yes.
And it is
Khushi?
using Z score internally in the
Algorithm, it will not use Z score. You have to first calculate the Z score, and then you have to feed the data in the algorithm.
Okay.
Otherwise weights will be biased.
Okay.
So
And
it
do we
is
have- yeah.
your duty to calculate the Z scores.
Yeah, and do we have built-in library classes, right?
We
in
have
Python?
the inbuilt library. If you remember one library somewhere, we have seen standard scalar.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Standard scalar is the library which does that.
Okay.
Okay. We will be seeing that into next upcoming classes. All these things we will be doing the hands-on. So don't worry. But I want you to first understand the concepts, because that is then just one-liner. Concept we will be focusing much, and we will discuss all these things. So I am first creating the base.
Okay.
Okay. So now this is one thing. Now you guys suggest me something else where I can make my model more better. Suggest me something. What to do with this data set? Let's come out of a standardization. Something else you tell me.
We have to omit some of the things which are not influencing the
Good. What are those things?
Like gender over here.
Gender.
Gender, age.
Okay. Okay, one thing is, because of the domain expertise, you guys are telling me gender should be removed, because what is the need of gender into the house price, right? So we can drop it, correct. Now, but sometimes you will be getting the data sets where what will happen, your variable names will be hidden. V1, V2, V3, V4. Now what you will do?
We made a heat map yesterday,
Good. Yes, that is what I wanted to hear. It's the 5% correct answer, but you are into right direction, not heat map, something else. Correlation. Correct. So correlation. So if I will be calculating the correlation, and V2 and V4 will be highly correlated. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Everybody agree, or somebody is having some
Yes.
argument?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So now one of the variable I can drop. Which one I should drop? V2 or V4?
V2.
Anyone. Either of them. V2 or V4.
Doesn't matter. If you will drop V4 also, your model will work fine. But as a sensible person, as per the domain expertise, let's remove the V2. But if I'll not remove V2, nothing will happen. Then V4, if you will remove, there is no problem. We can work with V2. Okay. So then you can make more robust model. So now what is happening? This is basically what we are talking about, the standard distribution and Z distribution. So now is it clear to everyone why we are converting a normal distribution into the standard normal distribution?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
One more thing. Okay. Now, one more thing. So you are having, have you seen log table?
Yes.
Right?
In
We are having
schools or
values,
college.
correct. Log 1 is 0, log 0 is 1. So all values are available. Similarly, you are having Z table available. You can get it on internet. We don't need Z table. So in Z table also we are having the values given. I'll show you into the upcoming slides how to read the Z table and T table. Okay, there is a Z distribution, and now we will also see T distribution into next class. So now what happens into Z distribution? One more thing. It will follow the same properties of your normal distribution. 68%, 95%, everything will be same. The only thing is, for standard normal distribution, mu will always be 0 and sigma will always be 1. Okay. Okay, guys, this you remember. Now, what is this? What is this?
Outlier.
Outlier region. Now, outlier region in any distribution is represented by alpha. Okay, and the value of alpha is equal to 0.05, right? Then what is the confidence interval?
0.95.
0.95. 0.95. Okay, so this is the confidence interval. Now another name for alpha is significance level. Why it is called a significance level? Because up to this level the data is significance. After this, data is not significant. Okay. Okay. So now on a Z distribution, you need to, so this is a Z distribution, right? Now, so you have to remember these two values. Alpha is equal to 0.05. Now Z alpha value. So Z 0.05. So Z 0.05 value is how much? 1.68. From where I got this value? Z table. Okay, I will show you how to read this. But alpha is equal to 5% is the standard value. You have to memorize this. Okay, now I don't want to confuse you guys today. I'm thinking let me confuse you tomorrow. But tomorrow also it's okay. At least one day you guys should be in dilemma. Okay, now this is one thing. Now what happens? What is this? These two things? Alpha by 2, alpha by 2. Okay, so this is the significant data, and both of these are significant level. Okay, so now there is something called as one tail test and two tail test. Okay, so whenever you are doing a one tail test, okay, so your alpha will be only marked onto the one side, which I have shown you into the previous diagram. This is a one tail test. Okay, so then alpha value will be how much in one tail test?
0.05.
0.05.
0.05.
Okay, and Z alpha value will be how much?
1.68.
1.68. Now another thing is two tail test. So two tail test is this. So in two tail test, what will happen? Alpha will be splitted into alpha by 2. So now what is my alpha by 2 value will be?
0.25.
0.025. Okay, now what is Z 0.025 value? 1.96. From where I got this value? Z table. Okay, now guys, okay, how to find out that I have to do one tail test or two tail test? This thing is a discussion on, will be in the Thursday's class. Before Thursday, I cannot explain you how we are finding out that it is a two tail or one tail. Okay, for now, whenever I say to you two tail, do the two tail test, you will do the alpha by 2, you will use the value 1.96. Whenever I will say one tail test, you will take value 0.05 and you will do the analysis on 1.68. Okay, so at least tomorrow, till tomorrow class, don't ask me what is one tail and what is two tail, how you are deciding, what is the fundament behind this. I will explain you at the appropriate time. Right now I had to explain you because there is a formula. Now there is a formula for calculating the interval estimate. X bar plus minus margin of error. Okay, X bar plus minus Z alpha by 2 sigma upon under root n. Okay, so now I can write this formula: X bar plus minus Z 0.025 sigma upon under root n. So sigma you can find it out in from the data set. Under root n is the count of the value. X bar you can calculate, and what will be the value of Z alpha by 2?
1.96.
1.96, and sigma upon under root n. Similarly, when your distribution is one tail, then what will happen? X bar plus minus 1.68 sigma upon under root n. Alpha and alpha by 2 will be depending on one tail and two tail. Okay, now what is this one tail and two tail fundamental is will be class after tomorrow. So apart from this one tail and two tail, at least this interval estimate formula is clear to everyone. Here only thing is Z alpha and Z alpha by 2 we need to replace, and this thing we will discuss into hypothesis testing class. This is the concept will come into the hypothesis testing. I will not be able to explain you in today's class at any cost, or tomorrow's class also. I need to clear you out onto few of the concepts before moving into this particular area. So for next one day till tomorrow, just rely on my words and rely on to me blindly, and then we will discuss into the class after tomorrow's class. Sometimes you have to just go on to the faith, right? Correct, Gurshil?
Yeah.
Okay. So guys, till here any questions?
Utkarsh, what is that X bar like?
X bar is mean, point estimate, mean value.
Yeah, because sometimes we are using different notations.
I will no. Okay, this is different formula. This formula I have not shown you till now. This is the formula for interval estimate. This is the formula. Okay, X bar plus, okay, you are asking about that mean. Somewhere we are using mu and somewhere we are using X bar, right?
Yes.
Okay. That I need to explain. Okay. Two things. When you are calculating the average value for population, it will be represented as mu. When you will be calculating it for a sample, it will be represented as X bar. Okay. Standard deviation will be represented as sigma. For sample, it will be represented as S. Clear? Okay, it is just they are segregating. Both are same thing, but for segregating it from to the population average to the sample average, they have changed the designation, mu and X bar. Okay.
Can it be median also? Like if we have outliers?
No, median will not be coming. Median is the concept of the box plot only. All remaining places it will be mean. Okay. Okay, so now application of this formula we will see into tomorrow's class, not today. So we will solve the proper numerical and proper problems onto this particular numerical. Okay, so that is all for today's class, guys.
Sir,
I'll
the
not
scale
go
that
beyond
we
this.
had on that particularly line was linear scale or like Z scale?
Z scale means which line?
That we are having alpha by 2, 0 and minus alpha by 2.
Correct. That is Z scale. You have to map the value from the Z table for those particular areas.
Okay.
Okay. We will see in tomorrow's class how to do the calculation. I just wanted to familiarize you with the Z distribution. What is Z distribution? Why we calculate Z distribution? What all are the things and formulas available into Z distribution? Now tomorrow we will see the application of this formula. We will re-see this particular thing. We will re-watch this and we will discuss. Okay. So that is all, guys. Anybody is having any question till here? I don't want to discuss beyond this because then it will be too much to eat. So let's close it here only.
Just can you explain me once again the difference between the variance and the standard deviation?
Variance and standard deviation. Again, variance we are calculating when you want to standardize the data, making it as a unitless. In case of data science, you will be working with multiple variables of different units. So we never calculate the variance. In this case, those cases we calculate the standard deviation. And when you only want to work with the single column, then variance will also work. Variance will also work, standard deviation will also work. But when multiple columns are there into your data set and you want to build something, you want to do the comparison of the variances, then you have to change it to standard deviation. Okay. One is the standardized format, because I cannot compare age with the square feet. So I need to do the conversion of the units by some particular methodology. Okay.
T-score, please repeat T-score.
T-score or Z-score?
So Z-score is same as a standard normal. You were talking about T-score also.
T-score we will see in tomorrow's class. Okay. T distribution. So when it will come, we will discuss.
Utkarsh, is that Z score is always is limited to only linear regression or any other regression as well?
Z score is it is having effect on other places also, but that again I can explain you when we will be into the machine learning class. So there is a reason why Z score is affecting into some of the algorithms. Some of the algorithm it will not be affecting because of some particular reason, which you will understand when we will discuss the algorithm.
Okay.
Yes,
okay.
But it for as of now, yes, it affects other algos also.
Okay. Okay.
But at the same time, there are some algorithms which are foolproof, which are not affected by the standardization problem and even correlation problem. Correlation can also not do any harm to these algorithms. They are so robust.
Okay.
Okay. So we will see that.
So as these concepts are very new to me,
yes.
So I totally forgot.
Okay, Ankita, I told you before also, now also, I don't know in this batch I told this or another batch. Guys, initial days of transition are always difficult. Okay, so whenever you will be moving into some of the new thing now, it will looks to you new, and settling down will take some time, definitely. And if you are feeling hard, if you are feeling tough, that means you are on to the right track. If somebody into the class is saying that things are easier, it looks to me easy, that means they are not studying and they are not putting any efforts. Right? So Ankita, you are on the right track. Don't worry, just blindly follow the slides. Just watch the videos and do one thing: make the notes. If you want to become confident that the whatever concepts I read, I should not forget. I should not be forgetting what I've studied and discussed into the class. I'll recommend you go through the slides, watch the video again, and during the video you take the notes out of it for the concepts, and you will become confident. This much effort you have to do, Ankita, if you want to have confidence onto the things which we are discussing. Okay, and again, as I'm saying, it is just for 1 or 2 months this phase will be there. After 2 months you will be familiarized with these concepts. These concepts will become very, and these are very easy as compared to your Java programming and C and data structure. There you will learn, you will forget, learn, forget. Here, once you have created the notes, you will never ever forget these things. This will always be on your tips. So make the notes, because making notes is very important. And another mistake which students are doing is they are not rewatching the videos. Rewatching the video is very, very important, because if you will watch the video 4 times, you will find out 4 times new different things in that video. Okay, so this much, if Ankita, you will make the notes and you will rewatch the video, I can assure you, you will not face this trouble. You will become confident. And again, I would say, if somebody is coming to me and telling me I'm facing some issues and these are very new and I'm finding it out tough, that means you are on right track. Only the people who are not studying, they will only find it out easier. So make the notes, make the do some efforts, and then don't worry. Opportunities are a lot in this area, in this domain. Okay, Ankita. Ankita, where is Ankita?
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Okay. You are convinced or not convinced, Ankita?
Yes, sir, I am convinced.
Somewhat convinced.
No. Yeah.
At least 40% convinced?
Yes, sir. When I rewatched the video, I got the thing.
Correct.
As the new topics comes into the picture, then I feel that I'm forgetting the last one.
And another problem, you guys into the weekday schedule also. So every day we are seeing new concepts, right? What I will do in between, one day or 2 day, one day at least in between, I will give you guys a break so you guys can actually refresh your topics and all that things also. So don't worry, things will settle down, but you have to put some efforts from 1.5 months. So that will be there definitely. Okay. So you will become 60 to 70% convinced once you will start making the notes with my thought. Okay. Sneha was asking something. Yes.
Sir, you said in Z distribution we refer to some table like a log table.
I will show you in tomorrow's class how to do that.
Yes,
reading.
Sir. But sir, every time in a real world scenario, like in some industry we are working, we will every time refer to that table?
No. So in industry, what happens now? There is this syntax. Z_test. In this, you just pass your data. That's all. Finish.
Okay, in the language.
How we do in correlation? We have discussed correlation into 20 slides, but how to calculate? df.core. That's all. Done. Right? So similarly, Z-test. But to understand this one-line syntax, we need to spend 3 more classes, at least 3 to 4 more classes. Next week, this syntax will come. Probably next week or Friday, this syntax will come. And to understand this one-liner syntax, we need to spend today, tomorrow, and next 2 days also. Okay. Yep. So no, industry, it is things are easy, but if your concepts are clear.
There's no need of memorizing formulas, right?
No, in interview they will not hire you if you don't know formulas.
Okay, we should know like all formulas.
You should know all the formulas, because I know one of the student from Learnbay. So generally Learnbay students, they are in touch with me. Majority of the students, 70 to 80% of students are in touch with me. So they are keep on sharing with me their interview experience. So one of the student, he was an HR into some consultancy company. Okay. And he came here and he learned data science, and he reached third round of JANPACT. And first round happened well, second round happened well, and third round happened well. Finally, they asked him, what is the Z score for? What is Z score? And now this guy forgot what is Z score and what is the Z score formula. And they asked, okay, tell us only Z score formula. So formula he forgot and they removed him. So I got one case where they asked specifically Z score formula and they removed him. So that is why I'm saying, no, you should remember, because there are people, that means, who are asking this formula. Okay, so it is needed. Formulas are very much needed.
Sir, I have a question apart from curriculum. Like there are a lot of jobs that are, tagged as data scientist or AI and ML engineers. So how one should target them? Like should we apply in all or?
Yeah, see what happens now. This is the industry is on very nascent stage. Okay, people and even industry people, managers and the directors, even they don't have any clarity onto the roles and what kind of job descriptions they should give. Now two problems are happening because of that. First problem is basically assigning the designation. Now what happens, few of the companies call that person as a machine learning engineer, few people call it as AI engineer, few people are calling it as a data scientist, but all three are doing the same work. Okay, some people, so now in Goldman Sachs we are calling it as associate, in EY they are calling it as the business associate. Okay, data science associate. So now designation may differ from company to company, but more or less you will be working on to the same thing only. Second problem, because people doesn't know anything, now when you will be seeing sometimes the JD, not for every company, now they have started making the proper JDs. You will see that they are asking Spark, C programming, Python, Java, cloud, machine learning, deep learning, NLP, AI, and UI, React JS, Node JS, okay, HTML. They will ask you everything in the JD. So that is another problem. So now these problems are happening because of no clarity into the domain. But what happens, these JDs are designed by HRs and hiring managers, but when you will be applying and when you will be going for the interview, what will happen, they will specifically ask you from the data science, because they also understand, they will not ask you UI and cloud related questions. So this is the problem, but because the domain is evolving, so this problem is there. Yes. So you target, first of all, I'll suggest to everyone, you guys target service companies first. So when you will be finishing up the course, target Accenture, HCL, Unisys, TCS, Wipro, these kind of companies. Work there for 8 to 9 months and then move on to some higher package into some other company. Okay.
So Utkarsh, would it be advisable to move to data engineering and then to this, because my company is limited to data engineering?
Are you working into data engineering?
As an offline, because I have contacted some managers and I'm working on data engineer because I have an opportunity to do so. Yeah.
So no, then you target machine learning area, because see, machine learning area is highly paid compared to data engineering. Okay, and all of us are basically behind the money only. So basically you should target that area. So don't target data engineering.
Utkarsh, I had one question. So you just said the responsibilities of data scientist and machine learning engineer are intertwined. They're doing the same thing in the company.
Correct.
So yeah, so basically the role of a data scientist is somewhere to driving out the insights from the data, and so the company can take decision out of it.
Simple example I'll give you. Okay, so in which company you are working, Gurshil?
Rackspace Technologies.
Okay, and what is your role there and skill set?
Say Tableau, data, Excel, VBA, automation, and Power BI.
Correct. So now, is there anybody available into your company who is junior to you but doing the same work, and senior to you and doing the same work as you are doing?
Yeah, there are.
There are, same thing. Now what happens, but what will happen, the person who is senior to you, he will be your project manager probably. The person who is junior to you might be somewhat some engineer, and you are probably senior engineer. Now similarly into data science, all three of us are doing the same thing only. With respect to experience and designation, the differentiation they will do. So to you they will call as a machine learning engineer, to me they will call it as a data scientist, and a junior they might be calling it as a data engineer. But yes, what will happen, yes, that one thing will be there, that somebody who is into data engineering profile, they will not give him modeling part. But it is not like that. If this guy wants to come into the modeling, so no company will tell, okay, you do modeling also. So that is how it happens in data science area also. But now few companies are having this confusion. So some people are calling it as data scientist, some people are calling it as machine learning engineer. Company to company it depends.
So, the main thing I was asking this question is like, data scientist is always trying to find out, insights from the data so that it can feed to company, and company can take a decision. But
Not necessary. He can do the data engineering as well, visualization as well. He do the machine learning model building as well.
Okay.
Data scientist is a person who knows everything. Okay, so I'll tell you who is a data scientist. I am having very Good drive. You guys have time now, 4-5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I will show you. Okay, here you go. What my friends think I do, what my mom thinks I do, what society thinks I do, what my boss thinks I do, what I think I do, what I actually do. Correct? SQL. It's a good something I created. So see this. So data scientist. So data scientist is the person who is lying into this block. Okay, who knows domain expertise, statistical research, mathematics, machine learning, computer science, data processing. Okay, a data science is a this kind of person. Machine learning engineer is basically this person who knows programming and who knows the mathematics. Okay, so this is the segregation, but there is something we call it as unicorn data scientist. Do you know what is unicorn?
Like it doesn't exist. It's a horse,
Imaginary.
एक वो
white
horse
horse.
होता है ना वो जिसके horn निकला हुआ होता है. Okay, so
Imaginary.
unicorn. So we are calling it as a unicorn data scientist in the domain. When you will go into the domain, you will hear this term, unicorn data scientist. So have you seen anybody who knows retail domain also, banking domain also, and entertainment domain also, manufacturing domain also? Is it possible?
No.
Correct. So on paper data scientist is this person, but actually this person doesn't exist. But so many people are coming and telling me like, okay, I became a data scientist. No, you cannot become a data scientist. Data scientist is a journey. After 10-12 years you will be reaching towards this area. You will do multiple projects, you will do data processing, visualization. So data scientist is a journey, it is not a designation or profile. You are trying to understand the crux what I'm trying to tell you. So this is how things happen. So basically expectation is this, but now really it doesn't exist.
Okay, so Utkarsh, one more thing, like the main example of machine learning, like when we try to use YouTube, when you click on a video, we can get recommendation inside that. So yeah, so that is also a form of guessing that our algorithm is guessing what
Machine
kind of video we
learning.
will.
Correct.
Yeah, and when we talk about AI, so the software that can think of itself or it can make decision out of itself. So what part does that come uh, inside this Venn diagram?
Basically what happens, AI is a combination of everything. I'll simply give you an example. Okay, so what is AI? Okay, now what happens, I have created one AI based project for one of the insurance company. So now what is happening, suppose somebody is having a car and that got met with an accident and there will be some damages, right, in the car. And then what happens, somebody from the insurance company will come and take the photographs of the damage and then they will give you the money accordingly.
Okay,
like this is the procedure. But now there are some people, what they do, if there is some little bit of the scratch or little bit accident happen, they will by themselves make the dents on the car. Yes or no?
Yeah.
To claim more money. I have taken an insurance of 20,000 rupees. Now I can claim more than 2 lakh rupees because my car might be older or something is the reason. Possible or not? And this is a bad situation for a insurance company.
Yeah.
Correct. Now what this, so I have worked this, I have created this for AIG, American Insurance Group, this particular project. Now what American Insurance Group has done, what we have done, there is in this car, whenever we are giving insurance to any car owner, we are fitting a sensor into this, which will be the accident reporting sensor. So whenever there will be an accident, this sensor will trigger a drone in AIG. Okay, now this drone will follow the GPS coordinate of this particular car. In US what happens na, all the cars are inbuilt connected with the GPS system, even in India also. So now this drone will fly and will go to this particular location. Now it will go to this location and from each angle it will click the photographs of the card. Now once you have clicked the photographs, you have the historical data available that from the insurance company, that when this was the damage, how much my credit officer has approved the claim for. So now on this particular historical data, I'll build a machine learning model. Okay, so when this is the photograph, this should be the claim amount. When this will be the photograph, this kind of damage, then this should be the claim amount. Okay, now on the basis of this clicked photo, my machine learning algorithm, my model will do the prediction of the amounts. Okay, now this amount which will be calculated will be automatically credited to the owner's account, claimed amount. Okay, and this whole system is called as artificially intelligent system, AI system. So AI is basically not a single algorithm. AI is a full-fledged system of multiple modules. Is it clear, Gurshil?
Yeah, so you were using like of computer vision algo to check
Computer vision algorithms. I was using IoT. I was using internet-based connected technologies. So multiple things I was using.
But,
I was using the business rules. Okay.
so
So
we will be learning that, right?
you will not be learning that. No institute teaches that.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So yes, so that is how, because this is a full flash something we have done for the AIG. Okay, so that is how these things happen. So that is what is an example of AI system.
Okay.
Okay, so that's all guys then for today's class, and we will meet again tomorrow. It's already 10. So thanks a lot for joining, and we will again connect back tomorrow.